Well, good morning. So, I'm gonna start this video off with another memory from when I was with my ex of 5 years. So, before this nigga brought all three of his kids to my house to terrorize my daughter, tear up her room and dirty up her room and dirty up my entire house. First, he started bringing his 11-year-old son around, and he was weird. That little boy of his was so weird. So he had brought him at night and said, well, that the baby mama of my ex of 5 years told him that she can't do nothing with him. He talks back and he bucks up to his own mama like he want to fight her. So she told my ex of 5 years just take him, because she had put him out. And told the little boy, told the 11-year-old boy, you gotta fend for yourself. Since you want to act like you want to fight me, you cannot live with me anymore. So she put him out. And my ex of 5 years came and got the boy off the street and brought him to my house. So I spoke to his son and asked him if he wanted a soda or something, being nice. So I go in there and I say to him, I said, because my ex of 5 years was in the kitchen. It was Thanksgiving time, and he was fixing his son some dressing and turkey and green beans and stuff. And I sold my ex of 5 years, which I think I named him Dummy. That's his name for this story time, Dummy. My ex of 5 years, because that man did so much to me and put me through so much. I say, do you want me to ask your son if you want to watch cartoons or anything on YouTube? My ex of 5 years gonna say, just give him the remote and you go in your room and watch TV. I looked at him, I'm like, first of all, this is my house, and I was watching something before y'all got here. I'm trying to be nice and ask you if you want me to ask your son if he wants to watch cartoons or something. Well, my son don't watch cartoons. The only reason why I told you to give him the remote, because he watched stuff on YouTube like arts and crafts, and he can find what he wanted to watch. I said I will put it on what he likes to watch. I'm not giving him my remote or going in my room. This is my house. And you're a guest here too, just like he's a guest. He say, okay, well, I'm not about to argue with you on Thanksgiving. I say, I know you're not. And he just pissed me off. You give him the remote and you just go in your room and watch TV. Like, dude, I pay the rent. He was helping me on my light bill. He was giving me money to pay the light bill. But I pay the bills. This is my apartment, and you're not going to tell me what to do. Your son got to follow rules just like you have to follow rules here. That is what it is. So later on that night, on Thanksgiving, after him and his son got done watching a movie, I think it was the Antoine Fisher story, they ate again. I go in there and his son fell asleep, and I was trying to tell him to come in the room with me so we can talk. And then he came in the room. He said, man, what you want? I said, first of all, slow your roll. And I'm like, if you have an attitude, you and your son can go to your sister's house. She stays 2 blocks away. Because you're not about to have no attitude with me on no holiday of Thanksgiving. He said, it's just that you know that that's my son and you don't want to give him the remote. I'm like, this is not about me giving your son the remote. You just want to try to have control. You don't have no control. When you get a better job and you start paying all my bills, then I'll start listening to you. But you don't tell me to give him my remote and tell me to go in my room and watch TV. The fuck? Who you think you are? And he had just pissed me off to the max. So the next day, he tells his son to get dressed, and he get dressed. And he's like, well, me and my son about to go over my sister house, and we're about to eat some of her gumbo. He's like, do you want me to bring you a plate back? I said, you can. Which I never really liked his sister, and I didn't really trust her cooking, but I just said that. So he's like, well, I'll be back later on tonight, and he gave me a kiss. And I told him and his son bye, and me and my daughter watched them as they got in his little raggedy car at the time and drove off. So later on that day, it started getting late and late and late and late. Finally, when I called him, I say, what's going on? I thought you and your son were coming back to the house. He's like, well, we're going to spend the night over here because, you act like you don't want my son watching your TV. I'm like, get the fuck out of here with your stupid ass fucking insecurity. I'm like, you can come get the rest of your clothes and all your shit and just live over there at your sister's house because I'm not finna kiss you or your kids' asses. And just like when he brought his other 2 kids, and he got 3 other, okay, he have 3 kids with one woman and he has a daughter with another woman. He has 3 baby mamas. And he has a son with another woman. So I'm like, I told him when he brought all 3 of his kids to my house, I'm like, first of all, your kids are going to respect me. And if they dirty up, or be prepared for me to tell them to clean up. You always telling your kids they can go in my daughter's room and play with her toys. They're going to clean their room. He's like, don't fuss at my kids because I don't fuss at your daughter. I'm like, you a motherfucking lie. You do fuss at her. You just don't put your hands on her, and you're never going to put your hands on her because she's not your kid. So, but that man just will put me through so much, and then it's the holidays. I think he would act the worst on Christmas. He spent about 2 or 3 Christmases with me and my daughter before me and him actually broke up. And this one time, it was Christmas. His entire family came to my house. It was so many of them rowdy ass people. They was rowdy. My daughter wasn't there. She was with my sisters. But they in my house. They smoking weed. They drinking. They roasting people. They all scattered. It was like 29 of his relatives scattered all over my living room. Some of them was sitting on the steps in my house, and there were so many of them. I'm like, What the fuck is going on here? They didn't really stay that long, but I just felt uncomfortable and out of place because here I was, told him it was okay for him. He had cooked. He cooked. He had barbecued and made some homemade dirty rice and made potato salad and all that shit. But I just didn't feel like, I felt a little bit uncomfortable with all his family in my house like that. And it's like whenever his family would come around, he would act as if he like wanted me to kiss his family's ass, and I'm looking at him like, your kids that you have with other women, and your family is not gonna be in my house disrespecting me. I will ask them to leave. If they don't want to leave, I will get the police to get them out. Not his kids, but his cousins and his aunts who never respected me, and all his other family members. That was one relationship that I don't miss. I spent 5 years of my life with that man. And at first, I tried to be good. I did not cheat on him at first. But once he went to jail a second time, and this was when he was about to get ready to go to prison because he had a drug charge. And he had cocaine in the car and all that bullshit. I had decided, and he also had a female in the car when he got caught by the police. Let's not leave that out. I decided, I was going to have me a man in my life to entertain me. And it wasn't Terrell. Terrell came later on in the relationship. Once he got out of prison, that's when I started sneaking around, having Terrell as my sneaky link. But I was dating another guy named Vernon when he was in prison. And this guy was so nice, he would take me to work because I didn't have no ride, and I don't know how to drive. And then it was hard on me because I took 3 buses to work. But that was who was entertaining me while my ex of 5 years was in prison. And I just got tired of sitting around waiting on him to get out, and I just got tired of being lonely. I don't regret nothing I did because he's sitting around entertaining my neighbors while I'm at work and while I'm at beauty school. I come back from beauty school, he's sitting on the porch talking to my female neighbors and just doing the most. So I'm not going to feel bad. I didn't feel bad then. At the time, I felt guilty that I know that I was cheating on him, but I just did not care because he had put me through so much stuff. He had put me through a lot. And then he felt like, he actually would tell me, well, I know that you would never break up with me because I got that tongue action that's going to keep you in line. So I know I ain't going nowhere. I'm like, I told him, don't be so sure of yourself. Don't be so sure of yourself. Your tongue action is fine, but that's not really what I look for in a man. You have to have the whole package. It's not about having no big penis. It's not about giving no good tongue. And it's not about, the fact that he was cleaning up and cooking for me. Because he would do other things that would irritate me and disappoint me. Out of nowhere, he would just start an argument with me. And the fact that, like I said a long time ago, he let this man go off on me. He stood there and watched, and then he gonna walk to my house, let himself in with my house keys that I made for him. And then I say, why you just stood there and watched that man go off on me? Nah, because you probably have something going on with him. I think that's your boyfriend. I say, get the fuck out of my house right now. I say, because you in a relationship with me, you represent being with me, so you gonna tell me that you just go stand there and let that dude curse me out? I made him leave, and I think I made him stay away from her for a whole month. Because he gonna try to, after the fact, after I got mad at him and told him how I felt, then he gonna go around there where the man was at, and then he had a talk with the man. But that does not mean anything. You didn't stand up for me as my boyfriend, as my fiance, as my future husband. You stood there and you let another man humiliate and curse me out. But I don't have to put up with any of those things and all the other shit that he used to put me through. Arguing at me until 4 a.m. in the morning and all this stuff, and I couldn't get any sleep. I'm just so glad that God removed that man out of my life, because I just don't understand why I just still continue to be with him. And he think it was because of the sex, but no. I had a big apartment, and my apartment had I had a 2-bedroom apartment. But that apartment was large, and I would be scared at night. I used to hear things at night, especially when he was locked up in prison. And that was the main reason why I still kept him around, because I felt like if anyone tried to break in on me and my daughter, if anything, he would be the one to protect us. But then come to find out, he's getting his ass whooped from time to time. He's getting beat up, embarrassing me on a bicycle, riding the bicycle to the store and corner store. Just doing the most. It's bad enough I was living in the projects, and then the north side of Houston, in a town called Acres Home, that's just, I'm about to end this video because I do have to cook and try to enjoy the rest of my day. And I may come back with another video later on for y'all. Until then, stay blessed.